I think I'm live. Cheers and welcome to the Brac drinks. Welcome. What have you got to drink? I hope you've got a drink. I see some people already here, and I think the doctor's got coffee. He's gone to get creamer. And She-Wolf's here, and well, that's the first two. Welcome. I hope you've all had a good week. Cheers. Oh my goodness. Some more. I am feeling so. It's looking. I don't know what color this is looking like on your screen, but this is looking very orangey. This is actually an energy drink. It's not wine or anything. I am so exhausted. Oh, what? Hello, She-Wolf, and hello to the doctor. Hello, and Ginger. Looking ginger? Yeah, ginger, orange. Could be sparkling carrot juice. Yes. Oh, but I am feeling so exhausted. I've had a busy week. Tom from the shop. That's right. Welcome. I've had a very busy week. How has your week been? And what have you got up to? Have you achieved everything you've planned to do? Manifested anything? I think the doctor's manifestation for coming to the UK is getting closer because the borders seem to be opening up quite a bit, and we're getting a lot of American and Canadian tourists arriving into London. So that's one part of your manifestation done, I suppose. So then you just got to get the funds and book the tickets and everything else. But I probably look at the beginning of next year anyway. Just because everything will probably settle down a bit. But it's actually amazing how many Americans and Canadians are over here at the moment. Ducky, as always, had to mow the lawn. Oh, you've got a lawn. You're lucky you've got a lawn. Some people I know would just love to have a lawn. I'm not the gardening type, so I don't need the lawn. It's too much work. I haven't got time to mow the lawn either. I hope you find it good mowing the lawn. I hope you get some exercise out of it because it's good to get a bit of sunshine and helps with the fitness. Yes, London. And She-Wolf says, I've been working on some info for you about the old house, Tom. Thank you. Sorry, it's late. That's fine. Take your time. All things take time, really. Yes, and for those who are watching, and if you're watching on the replay, do say hello. Do a hashtag replay and say hello. It'd be nice to hear from you. She-Wolf is actually working on some information for me about her experiences in the old house. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, She-Wolf. It'll be a delight to actually hear all your stories. But good things take time, which is why I've been so late. I didn't realize last month I was so behind. I wanted to put out a few more episodes, but I just realized after my last one, or the one before the last one, it was very spasmodic, and so I quickly raced to get the Mandela effect out, if you've seen it, and I got the wrong picture of Fiona Brune. Fiona Brune, if you don't know, was the person that really coined the term Mandela effect, and she's a bit of a paranormal person as well, looking into paranormal activities and strange sort of things. But she looks very similar to Cynthia Sue Larson. I hope I've got the name right. I'm sort of all over the place. And she does pretty much similar things as well. And so it's a bit uncanny that they look alike and they're into similar sort of topics as well. But as someone pointed out in the comments on the episode, that I did get the photograph wrong. But I think a lot of people have done it because I've seen a few websites, and Cynthia Sue Larson appears as Fiona Brune as well. And there's not that many pictures of Fiona Brune, to be honest. So I apologize for putting the wrong picture up. And it's just it's so, I tell you what, it is so time consuming doing these episodes, and they are so simple episodes. Mind you, my technique of doing isn't the best, I must admit, but it's just fiddling. Also with this computer, it's not, I did say a few weeks ago, it's almost like having a new computer, but it's really slow. So I don't know what the man did with the computer, but it's really slow. And I'm a bit annoyed, actually, to be honest, because the stand, he didn't fix it properly, and so the computer's a bit wobbly, which is really, really annoying. But it's all a sign to open up to get a real, proper, bigger, faster computer. So that's on the cards. I've just got to work a way to monetize everything. Yeah, so I really raced to get the Mandela effect out, and I really raced to get the next episode out before the end of the month, but I just couldn't do it. In fact, I rendered the next episode, and half the sound was in and half the sound was out, just because I didn't have my control set up right. So oh, you've seen Larson? Yeah, she's a bit wibbly wobbly. Oh, I've never heard of her before. It's really good that people do know of her already. Yeah, no, I haven't known anything about Cynthia Sue Larson nor Fiona Brune. It's only when I did this episode of the Mandela effect, and I suppose that's how you learn when you're doing all this research, and it leads down the rabbit hole like Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, so I apologize for the mess up there. And I do think the episode may be a bit all over the place, but I was in a hurry. But hopefully, I'm going to launch the next episode in the next few days. And it's going to be about the shop. It's the real shop. And I think the doctor might have asked me about the real shop. So I'll take you on a quick little look through the shop. And also I'm beginning to wonder if I did it right, because it was pretty quick. Because I said it does take a while to get everything right. And especially like some of my older stuff actually took quite a lot of time to get the editing right, the inserts and things like that, which is to be able to produce these things quite regularly. It's just time consuming, especially when you're a one-man shop. I'm sure you've watched other YouTube channels, and they've got a crew behind them. They've at least got one other person, and there are some other people, like great big influencers. They've got like a whole staff of 30 people working with them, and basically that's what I've got to do. I've got to get this off the ground and get people behind me and working on this as well. So any pointers, any tips would be really appreciated on how I can do that, and also what you want to see, because I do want to build this other platform, which is part of the shop, just to get it going. But I must have things on it so people will just keep coming back. Doctor Who says, I think it's safe to say we go down similar rabbit holes from time to time. Yes, I agree, we do. Yeah, because you do investigate one topic, and that leads off to another one and another one, which is why I take so long half the time with my research, because I'm reading on one thing and I'm just being taken on this link to another website about this similar thing, and then that takes me off on another link, and before I know it, I'm on a totally different topic, which sometimes can be good, and I can do another episode on, which I think I've done in the past as well. So that's it with the episode. So I'm a bit sorry that I'm a bit later, but last week, and thank you for joining last week, and I'm so glad I made the effort to broadcast last week from the location. Oh, I think the energy drink is kicking in. From the location, I was actually, to be honest, I was actually at a wedding, in Weston-super-Mare, which is actually the County Court Farm. That's where it was, and virtually almost east of Weston-super-Mare. It sounds just so much like a supermarket. And so there, as you saw last week, there was no internet, and so I was using my own data, and I didn't want to use too much of it because I'm not really quite sure how much broadcasting uses of your data. And it was the beginning of the month, so I didn't want to use all my data up because I might need it later on. So those that tuned in last week, thank you for tuning in, and thanks for understanding why it was so short. And I hope the quality was all right, because I was just using natural light, that what I had, which was outside and was like a light just on the side of the building. Yes, it was 1 week ago. I was at this wedding on the western side of England. Quite interesting. And I've had quite a few adventures too. I'm glad you came on last week. It was different, but it was still fun. Thanks for thinking of us. Different. Oh, in what way? I hope it. I suppose it was different. Fun, different. Yeah, because it was different for me as well. It was a different way of broadcasting. Yeah. So I'm really glad you appreciate it. I'm glad everyone turned up. Otherwise, it would have been a very quick, quiet broadcast. Excuse me. Got a bit of a cough, and no, I haven't got COVID. I did do a test just to make sure if I could have had COVID, but no, it comes up as a negative. So I think I've just got the winter cough that comes around every year, and I've got my hot black tea with honey and lemon. I swear by that. So hopefully it'll be better soon. Anyway, cheers. So I also, on the way to Weston-super-Mare, I also had a look at Bristol, because really I think Weston-super-Mare is a bit like a suburb around that area, and Bristol was the main place, and so I thought I'd better have a look at Bristol. And so I had a look, and there's a few strange things in Bristol. Not so much haunted paranormal, but more like gruesome and grisly, like murders and killings and theft as well. And so I'm just thinking how I would present that, because it's a bit different. But I must have crime on the mind because I was just talking about gruesome and crimes and theft and things like that, and I just saw rape on my maybe it's a message or something a bit, but I've just taken on my notepad. I've taken the papers off there. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. You've got the logo for the clipboard, and all I could see was rape when I mentioned theft and crime, and the rape comes up. So what does that mean? I suppose, paranormal speaking, it could be spirits joining in. Scientifically speaking, it could be my mind is programmed on that topic of crime, murder, theft. And so my mind has gone into the mode of picking up on details similar to what I've been mentioning. And just by coincidence, it was able to seek out the rape out of Rapesco, which is what the word is, Rapesco. I'll show it to you again. If I can, there it is, Rapesco. So that's the scientific idea of it. But that's in a way how our mind does work. Like when people start talking about a certain thing, and then all of a sudden our mind keeps picturing on it. Like someone says, oh yeah, I'm going to buy the yellow car, the mustard color car. And all of a sudden you keep seeing yellow mustard cars around the place. And it's probably not because there hasn't been any. It's mainly because your mind is now noticing mustard colored cars. And that's why it's picking up. And oh yeah, there's a yellow mustard car. There's another one, which normally you wouldn't have even noticed it, because your mind is picking up, like 17 million things a second, apparently. And so it's picking up all these things. So it quickly goes through all these things that it's picking up and shows you the important stuff to remember. And so your friends mentioned the yellow mustard car. So all of a sudden you're seeing the yellow mustard car because your mind is now attuned or programmed to pick up on the yellow mustard car. And in a way, that's how manifestation works as well. Because you've programmed your mind, and your mind or your subconscious then goes out, well, maybe not goes, but it's always on the alert. And when it picks up on stuff, and it's probably on a different level that it can sense things, like you're wanting someone to help you with a project, and you've put it out there, your subconscious has gone into a setup of finding someone that can probably help you with that project, and will pick someone in the crowd. And that's why you'll go to a meeting and then meet someone that, Lord and behold, is in the same area as you, and that can give you a helping hand. And that's along the similar lines as manifesting and attracting. We've got a few comments here. She says, I had a dream last night that a close friend died. I hate dreams like that. But death isn't what it always means, especially like in tarot card, and everyone feels that when they pull out the death card. But death is renewal. And maybe it's, I don't know the situation, is your friend sick or anything like that? And if your friend is quite healthy, it actually might mean your friend is actually going through a rebirth. Actually, that's what the death card is. It's like a rebirth, the death of one side and the beginning of a new journey. So maybe your friend is going on a new journey. New things are going to happen to your friend, or maybe there's a new chapter because it was you that had the dream of your friend. Maybe there's a new chapter that is happening. I don't know the full story. I don't know the relationship with you and your friend. So it's a bit hard to say, but I'm just saying, don't feel so bad that it's a death. It could actually mean really a rebirth, and it could be a good thing because your friend may then be starting on a new journey. I hope so. When I focus more on paranormal things, I tend to notice a lot more strange things going on. I guess it's just what you focus on is what you get. That's very true. And I said it's a bit like you've put your attention on paranormal stuff, and in a way it's set the program in your subconscious, so it then finds more paranormal stuff for you. It's a bit like Google and your search browser, that if you look up airline tickets, all of a sudden you'll get the next ad, maybe advertising an airline to take you away somewhere. So it's a bit strange how things like that all work in the same way. We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. It's a bit Beatlish. Is that what the TARDIS has changed into, Doctor? Yes. So I hopefully that dream wasn't too disturbing. I know when you do have a bad dream like that, it can be very disturbing. But hopefully, interpreting it, it's ended up being a lot better. So, have you been in contact with your friend since you've had the dream? And is your dream, is your friend okay? Excuse me. Yeah. Doctor says, only while visiting Pepperland. Okay, well, at least you've got, well, is that the TARDIS or the submarine? Has the TARDIS changed into the submarine? You know, when the TARDIS was working properly and it could actually camouflage itself into its surroundings. Yeah. Actually, talking about dreams, it was very quite interesting because through the week I did meet someone and she did have a dream. I'm just thinking, I can't really quite remember if she knew. Well, basically, this girl had a dream and she dreamt her mother had. I can't actually remember if she dreamt her mother passed away, but she did dream of her mother coming to her and saying that she was all right, as in her mother was all right and not to worry and everything will be fine. And then she woke up and the next day, her sister rang up and said her mother had passed away. And her sister was actually quite upset. And in a way, it was like the dream, and her mother in the dream had actually braced herself for the news, because when her sister mentioned it to her, she didn't actually feel so bad, and she actually consoled her sister, saying not to worry, that their mum was fine, and they were okay. So that's really quite interesting how that works. And again, I think that boils down to quantum physics and the communication that surrounds us all. Like we all have that collective consciousness where everyone can tap in and hook into each other's thoughts and stuff. She-Wolf says, years ago, I had a dream about the same friend. Someone was trying to shoot him, and I stepped in front of him, and that's when I woke up. Oh, that's very interesting. And that was years ago. So it'd be very interesting to see actually what happened between you and the friend. Or maybe it was excuse me, ticklish throat. It feels to me that depends on the friend again, if he was a close friend or not. And it feels like maybe you were trying to protect him, and like through the ultimate, maybe you were very attached to him, very caring of him, and that was the ultimate that you would go to support your friend. Even if he was actually being shot at, you would stand in front of him and protect him. So that's very, very interesting, that. And it would be interesting to know what actually ever happened after that. No idea what these dreams mean, but he owes me for saving his life last time. Well, that's good. Well, do say whatever happened. What happened with your real life relationship with your friend? Did anything happen that you had to go in and save him or anything like that? Do tell if you can. Of course, if it's private, that's fair enough. You don't have to reveal all, because this is a public platform as well. So just be careful of things you say, because people can tune in and see it as well. Yeah, I would have tried to protect him if it was a real person shooting. Exactly. So I think it just emphasizes excuse me, I suppose it does emphasize your feelings and intention for that friend of yours and how far you would go. Does this make you Supergirl? I think it might actually. She-Wolf says, no, I never had to save him. It was just a dream, I suppose. Yeah, it would have been just a dream, but it was just the it might be revealing your emotions to you on how far you would go for this person. If something really big happened to him, you'd be in there. Like he got kicked out of his house and he had nowhere to stay, you'd go and help him and maybe put him up in your place for a while, get the car and pick up his stuff and take it away, that sort of thing. And you have that in you as expressed in the dream. Haha, Doc. That was the Supergirl thing. But it seems like you were a Supergirl because you were able to save him in the dream. Our other reality. What's the James Bond film? You only live twice. And how does the song go? Once in your life and your other life in your dream or something. Something like that. Well, that's just what it reminds me of anyway, and I think it's really quite nice. Yeah. So I had a look around Weston-super-Mare. I had a look around Bristol, and that was really quite nice. And actually, just getting out of London was quite good because actually someone said to me, I always seem to be a lot better when I'm out of London. And I think that's what it was. I was back moving around again, and I think I need to do more of that. And it just gets me alive, and I suppose you're mixing with different people and different energies, and there are different energies in different cities as well when you are traveling, because people have a different collective consciousness in different areas, and you pick up on it. And I think I picked up on a bit of things like that as well. So it was really quite uplifting for me. So She-Wolf says, did you end up in London for your work, Tom? As in now? Yes, I did actually. I was actually, to be honest, I was actually trying to do performing, and I was trying to get to the States. I did actually shadow to a few people in the States, and they gave me the impression they were quite interested. But well, this is what I was thinking. If you're having a really good conversation and you're getting on really well, and they said, oh, and how are you with the green card? Have you got a green card? And I said, no, I haven't, not yet. And all of a sudden you could feel conversation just dwindling, and it's like there was no more point talking to me because they couldn't use me, they couldn't hire me or do anything with me. And so I think I just couldn't go anywhere. Otherwise, I think I would been able to get some work in the States. And so the next best place was the UK because I could work, but it was a different ball game, different setup. I hadn't realized, and I didn't have any real proper connections as I'd made in the States. And so it was just a big, it was just, things just went the wrong way. And I'm really off my course, whatever my course is. And the whole setup in the UK is really different. And I don't want to get into politics and economics, but I just feel that the setup of the UK is different from the rest of the world. But that's the thing with most different countries, they have their own setup. Some people fit in really well, other people don't always fit in really well. So yeah, and I think it is time to branch out further again. Well, we'd love to have you back here, Tom. I'd love to go to the States, but it's a few factors that I have to overcome, like the green card, for instance. Yes, and fund. Because things have changed, but I don't know, it's a little bit... yeah, things have changed a bit. So where were we? Yeah, so I had a look at Weston-super-Mare. I had a look at Bristol. and quite interesting places, quite nice places. A lot of history in Bristol. Weston-super-Mare is more of a small town, suburb. It's more like a seaside suburb because you've got a pier, like a fun pier. It reminds me a bit of, but I don't think it is, like the Atlantic Broadwalk, where you walk down the pier and there's lots of games and things happening on. And people will go there for the day or spend the night there and come back. Bristol, on the other hand, has been a city from way back. And it's quite interesting. It was an international seaport like centuries ago. So you'd have ships coming in. In fact, that's how they think the plague, the Great Plague, and even the Black Plague came to England through Bristol, through the trade on the ships. And yeah, and there's just so much history there. And of course, the theft, because everyone's trying to survive. They'll rob from people and kill them and knock them off, like the Christmas steps, which I don't know why it's called the Christmas steps, but these huge steps. And there's shops on either side as you go up these steps. And apparently, like 100, 200 years ago, people would actually hide in the doorways of shops, and people will come down and then they'll push them down the steps, and if that didn't kill them, then they'll get out their knives and stab them and then rob them. And so Christmas steps was probably a thoroughfare you wouldn't really want to go through if you didn't have to. The doctor says, I was all ready to move into the Kew Bridge settlement, but then they closed it down. Do tell, what was the Kew Bridge settlement? Was that over here or over there? Do tell. But yeah, but things like that happen. Maybe it worked out. Did it work out good that you didn't get to go, or was it a real disappointment? Because yeah, I know. And sometimes you wonder whether, because sometimes things like that happen, and you hear stories where people ended up going down a different pathway and ended up meeting their love of their life or something. And so in a way it was fated, or the next consolation prize from the original idea. But yeah, and sometimes you wonder, but yeah, I think it was interesting to have, for me personally, I think it was interesting to come over here, but I think I should have kept moving on. And I suppose you can actually get a sense when things aren't working out, then you're in the wrong place and you should move on. It was a public garden settlement with huts and tents and homegrown food. Sounds like, what do you call it? A kibbutz? Something like that. Yeah. So you couldn't go there, Doctor. That's a bit of a bummer. Where the poor would go and hang out. I was going to think more like where the hippies would go and hang out. She says his dream in life is to be a homeless bum. Nothing stopping you. You can do it anytime. I think but I think you should have a safety net so you can fall back on, though. That's what I would think. I've met one or two people that have decided to be a homeless bum, and they're not really like a homeless bum. One was an actress, and she wanted to get the feel, so she camped out with the homeless people just to get the feel of what it was like to be homeless. You know, acting characterizations. And actually, George Orwell actually portrayed a homeless person. This is going back to the 1930s. George Orwell, who wrote Animal Farm in 1984, he met someone in North England, and then they started traveling around together as homeless people, and then they came down to London, near Suffolk, the area south of London Bridge, and that was a very poor area, so they were homeless around there, and they actually stayed in one of the homeless shelters. And with George Orwell, he would actually gather his notes of his experiences with the homeless people, and then he would race off to the library in Suffolk and write down all his notes. And those notes ended up becoming down and out in Paris and London if you ever want to read the book. So that was George Orwell. And I also met another guy, a friend of mine actually made friends with him, and he was a homeless chap. And this was in Australia near Circular Quay. And I suppose it's the mindset again. Mindset is so important. He was a homeless person, and he had all his stuff around him. But apparently, my friend who got to know him quite well found out he was actually a lawyer, had enough of life, of the corporate life, and gave it all away, and basically started living on the streets. And obviously he's comes from a different background, being a lawyer, so he's used to houses and stuff like that, because in a way he ended up being like the head guy on the street for all the other homeless people. If they had problems, they would go to him and he'd sort the problems out. If they had disagreements, he'd be like the lawyer or the judge and say, no, you were wrong, he was right, and that sort of thing. And as I said, with the mindset, he had his place in this area, which was Circular Quay, but he also had another place. It was a bit like his holiday homeless place, and it was on the other side of the harbor in a cave, and that's where he would and his girlfriend would go to. And so I think it's a bit like the mindset. He's now he's a homeless person, but he's still portraying his personality of being a lawyer by looking after people. And it's not that he said that's what he was going to do. It's just that people just came to him for advice on that sort of thing. And with that sort of lifestyle, he even had a second house, which was a cave on the other side of the harbor. So I found that really quite interesting, that although you can be down and out, you still take the same essence with you. The doctor says you have aspirations. That's good to know. And she was just teasing. Lots of love. The doctor says I would have so made a TARDIS replica in Q had they stayed put. You can still make a TARDIS replica. Maybe charge people to walk through it or something. Dog has been very nice to the homeless in his day. Good on you. Yeah, it's people. The homeless, they're not always bums. I mean, some people are homeless because of drug addictions and stuff like that, and they've just lost control of their lives. Other people have financial hardships. Some people have had enough and just give it away, like that lawyer person, and wants to live rough. So, and there's many reasons why people become homeless. Sometimes it's in their control, sometimes it's not in their control. But yeah, we should always be respectful to the homeless and everybody too. So cheers to respect. Shewell says, I've heard of many people who have a place to go but choose to stay homeless for whatever reason. That's true. And sometimes it's bad family relationships, and it's either having to put up to go back and live with them, or be on your own, stand on your own 2 feet and do your own thing, and that's basically be homeless. All this pride involved, like you can't go back and go back to the family because it's a disagreement on something, and you're standing your stance with your pride of what's happened, and you won't go back. Yes, there's many reasons. It's really hard to just generalize because none of it is really quite general. So I agree totally. And it can be so really heartbreaking when you see these homeless people as well. And I think they end up becoming professional homeless people because they don't know what to do, and they get used to this lifestyle, and they just end up doing it all the time. Like there is a homeless person that I see for quite a long time, actually quite a few many years now, and I saw him when he first got onto the streets, and he was really a young, attractive young guy. And over the years, and that's the thing, I think he's tended to fallen into this lifestyle, because I've seen other people come and then disappear. So they've obviously moved on with their life, but he's actually adapted to this lifestyle, and he lives in a particular place. He's got a dog now, and he goes everywhere with the dog. And over the years, well, it's a rough lifestyle. You don't always have access to face creams, let's put it that way. And over the years, you've just seen him sort of like age a lot quicker. And yeah, well, that's it, basically. Just aged a lot quicker and down and out. And it's really a bit sad, really. But yeah, but apparently he's got together with a few other homeless people, and I suppose with the help with a homeless organization, and he's actually put out a photographic book. And so people buy the book online and get to raise the money for him. And there's other homeless people as well. Actually, I'm just thinking what the source is if you wanted to buy the book. I think it's outofhome.org. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is, outofhome.org. Let's see if I can create a banner. Sorry, the screen's just going up and down. Does that work? It didn't work. Didn't work. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Outofhome.org. Well, actually, I should just have a look and see if it does work. Yeah, so he's got a book out, and they've all taken photographs. No, it's not. Don't know. No, I can't find it. Sorry, guys. Oh, really sorry, but that's not it. Yeah, so I did try, but that's not it, unfortunately. Where were we? So yeah, so basically, yeah, there are different reasons, and I suppose some people get comfortable. You build new friendships on the streets, and you just end up staying there. Where were we? I think I did that. Yeah, we've had that one. Random thought. Dot went to a wax museum where they had a torture section. All wax museums have a torture section. I think it's the macabre side of humans, I think. Madame Tussauds. Which Madame Tussauds in London? Yeah, I've been to that one as well. Very creepy. I highly recommend it. If it's the one in London, yeah, I went there too. I don't know. I didn't find it that creepy, unfortunately. Maybe I'm a bit too. I can see the strings, so to speak. No, I think I wanted more. There are other wax museums around, and I do remember going to one as a child. And this was actually in Singapore. I don't even know if it's still around, but I was really quite impressed with that wax museum. Because Madame Tussauds is a really highly publicized one. It's got the name of the famous wax person that started the whole museum of wax. Because there's actually quite a few around. There's one in Barcelona, not under the Madame Tussauds brand, but these are independent wax museums, and they're all slightly a bit different. But I think I go for the real. Oh, and it was in London. Yeah, I've been to the one in London as well. In fact, I think it's very sterile for a lot of it, because basically it's just famous people standing there. And I remember going through the torture side. Yeah, I don't know. because I remember going to one as a child, and they did things with. See, I want interaction and movement, but the one, maybe it might have been different now that I'm grown up if I look at it. But I remember there was one exhibit, and they do with smoke screens, so to speak, and it was all done through mirrors. And you look through this glass, and there was this woman, and apparently it was it's based on this paranormal supernatural thing of called the Pontiana, and it's more of a Malaysian folklore of you'll see this beautiful lady on the roadside, and it's usually country roadsides where you've got the jungle and the trees. It's the tropics, it's Malaysia, and she would lure men in because she's a beautiful woman, and men will talk to her, and then she'd kill them or that sort of thing, or whatever she does with them. And this was we went in and we saw there was this glass case, and there's this beautiful woman, and it's all done with mirrors, and then she changes into this horrible creature, and it was really quite impressive. And then she'd change back to a beautiful woman again, and then change back into this horrible creature, and it was really quite good. And if you went if you went to Madame Tussauds, right at the beginning, there are some really, really old wax figurines of the French monarchy, Marie Antoinette and Louis the 16th, and the children. And they're like the original wax figures. However, they're not moving. But apparently there is one of Madame du Barry, and that was Louis the 15th royal mistress. And there's lots of different stories about Madame du Barry, whether you like her or if you don't like her. Some say she was really, really beautiful. And this figurine, the doctor might remember, because it's right at the beginning. And she does actually look really pretty. She looks like probably a child of 16, actually. Maybe she was at the time. But she's actually breathing. You can see her chest go up and down. And that is something that I really, really like. And I suppose it's getting more to the android side of things, the robotic side of things. And I think that's where they were going to, like 200 years ago. But I think it's easier, like Madame Tussauds, to just do a wax figure of someone famous and have people come in and have pictures taken with them, than actually have special positionings of wax figurines breathing and moving and doing stuff like that. Yeah, but I was really impressed with Madame du Barry, and it just makes you think, if she really did look like that, why the king really fell for her. And they must have got on, because the whole story of Madame du Barry excuse me, is quite fascinating as well. I mean, she always said she was she said she was a milliner or a seamstress, but basically, I think she was basically a prostitute. Sorry, Madame du Barry, or a courtesan or an escort, because really, she was a commoner, and there are thoughts that she did work in certain places, and was very lucky enough to find the king. And apparently, I think the king's wife had passed away, so he was a free man in a way. But she was a commoner, and French tradition, you couldn't even take her and present her at court, like around the palace, because she was a commoner. And that's why I think he must have genuinely liked to go to all this trouble to get her to be able to just be able to walk around the palace, Versailles, because he arranged a marriage for her, because to be seen together, she had to be presented at court, like at the palace. And so what they did was arrange this whole marriage. So she married Monsieur de Barry, and so she became Madame de Barry. So all of a sudden, she was the wife of Monsieur de Barry. So she was then a legitimate person to actually walk around the palace. And so once she was able to walk around the palace, she just ended up having an open affair with the king. And obtained the title of the Royal Mistress. So that's a little story about Madame du Barry. But apparently, and there's lots of different things about her. Some say she wasn't a very nice people. She picked on Marie Antoinette. For some reason, she didn't like Marie Antoinette. Caused a lot of problems for her. And yeah, some people say Madame du Barry wasn't really that nice a person. Excuse me. And unfortunately, Madame du Barry didn't really have a good end either. Long story short, French Revolution came. She should have stayed in England. She traveled to England quite a bit during the French Revolution. And if you can imagine the travels, it was all by stagecoach and a boat, because you had to go across the English Channel. And then she came back. She came back to Paris, God knows why. She was accused of embezzling her jewels out of the country. She was very much into her jewels, but for a woman, I think that's really security, because you can sell the jewels and that will support you. And well, she came back, and that's when they arrested her and trialed her as being part of the aristocracy, and was beheaded, unfortunately. And the doctor says, on the north end, not far from Holmes Museum, I'd have to see a map. Yeah, Madame Tussauds is near Baker Street, and where Sherlock Holmes Museum is. Yeah. Apparently, it's not the address that's in the movies. I think it's a post office, that address, and it gets lots of. It's a company building, and it gets all these letters to Sherlock Holmes, because they send it to the address, and of course Sherlock Holmes doesn't live there, and so it all goes to the post office. She will say she went to a wax museum in Plymouth in Massachusetts. All I saw were pilgrims. Well, I suppose it's emphasizing the history of the area, which is quite a nice way with a wax museum. Animatronic. As in, doctor, do explain. I should know, but I'm a bit where's the phone? I suppose I could look it up again, actually. Here we go. It actually means relating to or being a puppet or similar figure that is animated by means of electromechanical devices. Yes, like Madame du Barry, how she was breathing. Yes. Thank you, doctor. Yes, I like all of that. It just makes them. But then again, it's a bit like robotics. Have you seen Sophia, the android, one of the basic androids? There's lots on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, of groups that support Sophia, and they'll put things up. And Sophia is the android, and she virtually walks and thinks by herself, and she's got a computer in her, and she is learning all the time, just like a child learns to do things like don't go down the road because it's a bumpy road and you might fall over. You'll learn that, and she won't do that. And she's just like a real person, and she's growing and learning more. Oh, She-Wolf says, I saw Plymouth Rock too. It wasn't wax, it was rock. Plymouth Rock. I suppose it's a place, isn't it? Where the Pilgrims came. I'm not too au fait with all of American history, especially that old. It's only recently I'm really beginning to learn more about the 1600s. The first AI to have citizenship in Saudi Arabia. What? Sophia? Sophia's got citizenship for Saudi Arabia. That's interesting. How does she fit in? She's a woman. She doesn't really go around with the burqa and all that, does she? She does. Oh, so she belongs to Saudi Arabia. Who actually made her? Wasn't it Japan? Or I thought she would have had citizenship with Japan, or is it dual citizenship? Although Japan doesn't allow dual citizenships, apparently. Let's be adventurous. Oh. There's let me see. I've got a picture of Sophia here, if this works. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh my God, this place is a mess. There it is. Can you see that? Does that work? Oh, what a mess. I don't know if you can see that, but that's Sophia. I wish she'd get some hair. That's a bit of a very of a frightening one, obviously angry one. Oh wait, yes, okay. So that was Sophia. I'm sure it's just a publicity stunt. Maybe it's a promotional stunt to get people to go and live in Saudi Arabia, but she has citizenship. Yeah, I think I remember hearing something like that, to be honest. But that is almost like opening up a whole realm of making them almost like real people. I mean, isn't it what Stephen Hawkins, was it Stephen Hawkins that said that AI will be the death, or it might be Elon Musk, AI will be the death of mankind. Well, will want to have equal rights too one day. They won't be wanted to be cleaning our toilets, I can tell you, after a while. She's supposed to look like Audrey Hepburn. Really? I don't think she looks very much like Audrey Hepburn. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let me. Did that screenshot work before? This looks very. This looks bit more like Britney Spears. Can't seem to get it bigger, unfortunately. Or can I? No, it goes to a little. Yeah. So I don't think it looks very much like Audrey Hepburn. Maybe I can bring up Audrey Hepburn. Images. There we go. There's Audrey Hepburn. I don't think it looks anything like her. Oh. I can see the idea behind it, but I don't really think it looks like Audrey Hepburn that much. That's just me. Yeah, I don't see it either. No screenshot. Oh, I'm sorry. How did we go with Plumrock to Saudi Arabia and Audrey Hepburn? The conversation evolved. I think we were talking about plastic people, and Sophia is a bit like a real live plastic person. With no offense to Sophia, of course. So I think that's how we got to Audrey Hepburn. And the doctor saying Sophia was actually modeled on Audrey Hepburn. So, well, there we go. So I'm going to have a new episode coming out in a few days' time. The original Bric a Brac shop. That will be something that you may be interested in, Doctor. And then I'll put all together all these other episodes I've done, all the information I've collected from my trip away. It's just getting the time to do it, because when you're working all the time, autons do let me just see. Filters a machine or robot, usually in the form of a living being, designed to follow a precise sequence of instructions. Excuse me. That's basically an android, isn't it? What's the difference between an auton and an android? Oh, the android invasion. Oh, I think I saw that one on Doctor Who. No, tell me what's the difference. What's the difference between an auton and an android? Aha, Tom, Doc, and I switched topics so fast that I'm not sure we even know what we're talking about. I know, I know what you mean. I'm a bit like that sometimes. I think I'm following it this time at the moment. Autons, living plastic creatures, but that's an android. Androids are living plastic creatures. One is solid plastic, the other is mechanical parts. Oh. So where are the basics inside an auton? Because an autons, I know, it's that Doctor Who episode with Elizabeth. What was it? Was her name Elizabeth? The assistant with her hair up in a bun, and it was all the shop mannequins coming to life. Boy, I remember that as a kid. That one. So Sophia would be an android and not an auton. Excuse me. Yes. So, how are we? Ah, good. Okay. At least we've agreed on that. Oh. Sophia is an android. So in a way, autons are a bit like supernatural characters. If they're all plastic and then they come to life, then they must be possessed with an entity, like dolls and certain objects, I suppose you could say. That's very interesting. Excuse me. Well, I think I've covered everything. So I look forward to you guys watching the next episode and putting my other episodes out there from information I've collected over the week. That's right. As I was saying, it's a bit hard with working all the time, but I've got to pay the bills. And I've got to get the platform off the ground. So anyone has any ideas, do write down what you'd like to see on this platform. Because I was thinking it's a bit hard because I do cover a wide range of stuff. Because I would cover some spiritual stuff, so maybe some yoga and some meditation, and that goes back. If you really follow yoga, that really goes back into almost like the Sanskrits of why the world is. And because if you go to the Eastern religions or the Tibetan Buddhisms, they go back and they say there's like, oh, I was having this other conversation with someone else, like there's 11 dimensions in quantum physics, and the Sanskrit say that there's almost like, and I think could be 11, but it could be more, so many different heavens that you actually go up. In fact, the Mexicans, the Aztecs believe that, like the Mayans, I think, they believe that once you die, you don't actually go straight to heaven. There are different levels to get to heaven. And actually, that's very similar with the Chinese traditions as well. So there is correlations, and I think, and you really have to get as far back without it getting changed, like with modern religion, changing things around, just to simplify things to make the people be able to easier to follow you. That's my idea of that sort of thing. So you want to go back to the purest religions so you can get an idea of what the real secret is to this whole life. When can we expect it? The new episode next few days, probably, maybe tomorrow, Monday, probably Monday. Probably Monday, but don't expect too much. And then I'll try rolling out. I really want to get an episode out at least once a week, but I've just been pulled under, so to speak. You know, as time goes along, I feel like I'm getting dragged along, and I just can't keep up. It's like I've hardly posted anything on my Facebook groups. I have hardly posted anything on my Instagram account. And it's just like I've just fallen off the wagon. It's just really, really bad. But I want to, just get it going again. Just get the momentum going again. And I just find it really hard with working all the time because, tell you what, I come home and I'm so tired. I just fall asleep straight away. I don't actually go to bed. It'd probably be good if I went straight to bed, but I've got things to do. So I'll just fall asleep for a while and then get up and start doing everything. I think up some ideas for you. That'd be great. Any idea is greatly appreciated. After all, this platform is for everybody as well. Spitspot governor. Spitspot. She will say some. Sorry, can't type. Don't worry, neither can I. And it's worse when you're in a hurry. In fact, I'm thinking of doing another style because I did have a Zoom conference call. It was a challenge. I did a challenge, which has actually given me a few ideas, which is really good. And I'm thinking instead of doing it like this, maybe I'll have like a Zoom call. Get her done. I will. I've just got to put it out there and do it. But I was thinking I might having a Zoom call, and that way we can all be interactive all together. And this way we won't have to do so much typing, and that'll be good. And I won't have to keep reading all your comments and everything. But that would be like a interesting experiment, which I might do next week. I'll see how quick I can get myself organized to do everything. So on that note, what are we going to do? What are we going to manifest for next week? Put it out there, and I hope you can all get it done, achieve it, attract it. It will be really good. I know what I want. So on that note, I'm going to leave you all. Thank you for joining, and those that have joined after the broadcast, say hi. Do a hashtag replay and say hi. I'm going to manifest accomplishing things finally. Yes, do. Please do. Are they all achievable in a week, or is this going to be a long-term thing? Doctor wants to go. That's a wrap. Okay. And it's Saturday night. I'm sure you all got things to do. Dinners, friends to have dinners with. Nightclubs to go to. I don't know, is nightclubs back open again over in the States? So on that note, put it out there, and let's hope we get all our manifestations attracted by next week, by the next broadcast. So on that note, cheers, thanks for joining, and there's more. I can get them done in a week. There you go. I hope to hear you say that next week, that it's all done. Boddington's to guzzle. Cheers. And I'll see you next week. Have a good week.